Oh hi, I'm Rodney and I'm selling my Delica. It's a Delica 1996 Series 1 Auto 2.8 litre diesel, and I'll give you a little guided tour of it. I first bought it in 2005 and I've had it 7 years. Inside, you see it's pretty well, all the Delicas are fairly well decked out. We'll have a look at the others on the other side later. Just while we're here, the seating, I never use car seats. I always use bath mats, and when the family go on holidays, we put bath mats on. I don't like seat covers. So we'll go around. There's a little dent here. That's a car park dent. Somebody did that on the way through shopping. This is actually a long wheelbase version. It's around 600 millimeters longer than the short wheelbase, and it just gives you a little bit more room here. We can get about 6 suitcases in here, and this is actually a 7-seater model. So 2 at the front, 2 in the middle, and 3 in the back if you put the armrests up. I've just thrown a steering wheel cover in there if you like them. I don't like them, but it's some drivers like them. So we'll take a look in the side door. They're quite nicely appointed, as you can see, and they could actually open the windows so we can get some more light. So here we go. We tend to use these in the afternoon or evening. It gets a bit hot under there in summer with them open. Air conditioning controls over next to the passenger there. Motorised curtains, if you really feel inclined, they go backwards and forwards and the driver can control those. And a good console at the top for lighting. And there's a wooden knob here. It never came with a grey knob. I made one and put it there, and 7 years later it's still there, but works fine. So these seats, the handles go up and down, and the other thing that these can do is spin around these, and we'll do a demo about how they spin around in a minute. The front, I recently put new speakers in the front, which are behind the grille here, and they're these ones here. Got them from Jaycar Electronics, and that's another whole set for my other car. The steering wheel, which is leather, and I tend to treat with leather seal 2 or 3 times a year. A little bit of that goes a long way. Smells great. It's a beeswax product, and keeps the steering wheel in pretty good nick because it is an old wheel, and I want to keep it in good condition. In the glove box, I've got a few things. Firstly, the registration papers. The new owner would get that. I had a new windscreen put in the car just last week, 5th of the 3rd. There's the radio, the 2-way radio instructions, some basic instructions on the car that came with it when I bought it. Also, I've used in this car a diesel additive for many years, Clean Power. And it really does help the car's performance, and I like it, and I put the name and address of the company. It's called Cost Effective Maintenance. Also put a new battery in last week on the 7th of March as well. So that's that. In here is the oil filter replacements. You can buy them at Repco in this case, or Burson's, and I bought some other components, so I just put the part numbers there. The jack handles I keep in there. When I bought the car there was no jack. You'll notice in the front some instrument dials, and we'll give those a workout in a minute. I put a pyro gauge in on the left. I put a boost gauge in, and on the right a voltmeter. The voltmeter just gives us a reading post waypost battery back into the dash. The other meter down lower gives us our voltage off the battery, so that's more accurate from a battery point of view. And we'll go for a drive and show you that in a minute. I'll move these seats for you. First thing is, you can use these as a footrest, but I've never let my family do that because I don't want them dirty. So they've just sat there. And to move the seats, you can do that. If you want to turn it round, or if you want to fold it up to make lots of space, we'll do that first. So you can make miles of space in the back, and because you can even fold those up at the back too, so you end up with a big van. And we'll turn this around. So if you go on holidays, you just do that. And I've got to do it this way. Because all the controls are on the other side. And there you can have play cards or have great time together. Both these seats turn around. So that's great. I normally don't have so much difficulty, but I can't see what I'm doing.
Okay, I'm recording.
We'll look under the bonnet. New radiator in May. A new alternator in May 2012, new battery last week. A little bit of a strange battery holder because it's actually made to hold 2 batteries, and if you want to, you can put 2 in there and flip the bracket over and do it the way it was originally it came. They came with a single battery or double battery option. Okay, oh, and the turbo tap is down here, right here. That turbo tap, I've got it up 4 clicks, so it takes the turbo from 12 psi to 15 psi. Just a nice little amount for all the little hills and things. And the pyro gauge fits in down here as well. So there's the pyro gauge sensor unit. So works very well. Okay, to put this down, because it's got aerials on the front, I just move the aerials forward a little bit. Drop it, let it go. Okay, well, we'll take a drive. Okay, the car's got a number of new things on it. As I mentioned before, it's got the radiator, a new alternator. There's the overflow. The radiator's overflow was replaced a couple of years ago, but that'll last another few years. Brand new battery under the bonnet, of course, and a brand new windscreen. I put a new head unit in just last year, and new speakers in the front. Under here, which you can't see unfortunately, is the trailer brake controller. I've been experimenting where to put it so it can be moved around. It's got a 2-inch lift kit, and I've spent $2,900 fixing the air conditioning. I could have spent a lot less, but I ended up with 2 auto electricians who didn't know what they were doing, so I ended up having to go to a third, and it was $1,900 to finish that job and fix it. Okay, we'll take a drive. There's the boost gauge. You'll see that working as we drive around. Just one little thing I should mention, I get a blinking red light on the dashboard. That means one of the doors is not closed properly. They're all closed, and I had a problem, a little nut broke on the back where it locks the back door, and since I've replaced that, it's not quite tight or something, so and I've never been able to fix it, so somebody can fix it. But okay, so normally you can't see boost in most cars. There you go, flicked it to 15. This car, the 4M40 diesel motor, usually sits with the turbo, sits at about 12 psi on a trip. And however, with a little bit of boost, if you're pulling a camper trailer or a trailer or just got a big load, it's just nice to have the boost go in, cut in and out, and have extra boost. It's got an overdrive here. The overdrive's actually on at the moment. It's also got a, you can lock the gears because it's an auto, you can actually lock it. And this particular model has a sports switch on the automatic transmission, so if you want a little bit more performance or more revs, you can switch it on. I don't use that one. I leave the overdrive on nearly all the time without load, and I only tend to use the overdrive if we've got a full car of a load of people, and then as I come into town I might shut it off. But so I'll do, it's off now. The revs go up about, on the highway the revs go up about 500 if you have it off. When you put it on it drops. That wouldn't have been 500 there then. It's got two glove boxes, so there's one where I kept the papers and various things, and there's a top box. I usually kept a few cable ties and tissues and various bits and pieces in there. So just a couple of other things. The reason I'm selling is I actually own two of these, and this is the one that's in much better condition. I've got another one which has got issues of rust and air conditioning and a couple of other things. If I was to, the things that you might want to do in this car to fix it is the roof, the sunroof motor. How the cog has worn out, and it's actually fixable. I did pull this all apart one Saturday, but couldn't remove one big screw with a Phillips head screwdriver, and so I just reassembled it. But there's people that have done it. They could get that off, and you flip the cog over, clean the, so it doesn't pop up and fold back. I'd put a bash plate on it if you're going in the bush. The issue about seat covers, I don't like seat covers. I use tea towels or bath mats for seat covers, and there's a little bit of a patch on this seat which you saw earlier, which I patched up. The seat came with a hole in it when I got it 7 years ago. If I was to actually do some more work with this, I'd probably put a bull bar in the front with a winch, the bash plate which I've mentioned, roof racks, and a fridge slide. I've got a 12-volt fridge, and I would put a fridge slide. Boost gauges in diesels will only work in the positive, and the boost gauge in a petrol engine, a turbo-charged petrol engine, will work in the negatives and the positives. So I could have possibly found a gauge that only had positive, but I was happy with this one. The reason I've put the gauge in was to actually see what the turbo was doing. But now I just look at it every now and again just because I'm interested. It doesn't really tell me. Whatever I'm doing, I don't need to modify when I'm driving. When I'm going up a hill, I'll see that climb up to the 14, 15 mark. When we first fire up the engine, you get a default screen, and I usually hit the display button, which brings up the air conditioning information. Since I changed the unit here, No other information comes up there that's useful, and I use it just for the air conditioning controls. I can control the rear and front. I can control everything about the air conditioning in the car with the split air conditioning system, except the temperature in the back. The passengers adjust that over there. So just drop that out here. It's full climate control, and we can set the temperature to be in auto mode. So this is my lovely car, Delica 1996, beautifully appointed, nicely kept, and if you're interested, give me a buzz. Thank you.